Right now, we're about to see the Real Madrid players walking into the field. A first half that was quite successful. They held the defense. They maintained Inter at 0. And then during a counter-attacking play, they were able to score the 1-0 goal that has them at top of group.
And it's going to be intriguing to see if Real Madrid decides to sit back and just take the win, or if they try to go on the attack and just secure the win even further.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm sure that their tactic today is just get the win or the tie. However that happens, we see that Federico DiMarco comes in for Denzel Dumfries. We'll see how that shifts the defense. It will likely mean that they will move into a line of 4, if I'm not mistaken. Taking out Dumfries, who plays on the right side. D'Ambrosio will take that spot. Then on defense, we're going to keep Bastoni and Skriniar. And then on the left side, I believe that it's going to be DiMarco. I wonder how that will shift Perisic, maybe farther up the pitch. They have struggled in offense, and it seems like Inzaghi's trying a more attacking formation.
Yeah, I mean, Inter need the win in order to top the group, and we'll see what happens here as they kick off for the second half.
Most definitely. And we see Inter start off with the ball. They're playing it back already. This is not what you want to see as an Inter fan. As an Inter fan, you want to see them go forward quickly. But Inter seem to be playing with a lot of patience, and that's patience that I believe that they cannot afford to keep. Brozovic on the ball, right in the midfield. He goes through it, and once again, just taking a lot of time to see what opportunities present themselves on offense. DiMarco playing on the left like we had previewed. Now back with Brozovic. What will he do? He gives a little pass, lays it off, and now it's Perisic, the Croatian on the side. Terrible cross in Real Madrid with a clearance. Bastoni gets it. Middle of the field, little pass back to Skriniar. And this is what I'm telling you from Inter this whole game. We're here in the second half, and we're seeing the same type of patience that they cannot afford to be having.
Yeah, Inter need a goal, and they just don't seem to have that killer instinct. They're getting up the field, they're holding the ball fine, but they just can't get that final play in the final third.
Yeah, definitely. And right here we see them. They're in the wing. Real Madrid covering with 3 players. Militao pushing forward a little. Rodrigo complementing the defensive duties. And then we see Carvajal, that's the main presser in that position, to Skriniar. Nice little 1-2. He has space on the right wing. He decides not to utilize it. And now we see Casemiro. Nice little pass to Toni Kroos that scored Real Madrid's 1,000th goal in the Champions League or European Cup, as they won a lot of those before it became the UEFA Champions League. Nice little passage of play. Now Mendy to Toni Kroos. Casemiro plays it back to Toni Kroos in the middle of the field. Luka Modric to Mendy. Mendy, quite out of position right there, decides to play with Dani Carvajal, one of the best right backs in the world. He plays it with Rodrigo. Now to Luka Modric. Modric on the ball, decides to play it off to the side to Mendy, who has returned to his position. And he's going a bit forward. Real Madrid not being as defensively powerful right now. They're attacking more. They're not trying to hold back. And I think that they see Inter's weakness, and they'll try to take advantage of that. You see here on the ball. Nice little pass from Militao. Pass back to Casemiro. But that's also what Real Madrid are doing. Yes, they can afford to go forward, but whenever they've seen that there's a bit of pressure from Inter, they'll just play it back and they will not miss it. And we see a bad pass from Luka Modric. We don't hear that often. Pass to the right side of the box. The shot! I thought that was in. Nicolo Barella. He will be complaining about that later. He will definitely be disappointed with himself. We see the ball start off. D'Ambrosio falls over a little. Beautiful pass in Barella on the edge of the 6-yard box. He crosses. Alaba takes out a bit of space, but there was certainly enough between Alaba and Courtois where he could have aimed for the top right of the goal. He just kicks it over.
Really good effort from the youngster. He leans back a little too much, and that's what sees the ball go over the bar, but it's getting closer, and Inter really want to go.
They definitely do, but so do Real Madrid. Offensive play with Vinicius, he lets the ball go out. And we've been talking about that in the first half. Vinicius struggling a little bit with those types of decisions there. He didn't know whether to cross it first time, and it ended up with a Inter kick right now. As we see Barella's chance once again. There was definitely enough space for him as he shoots it over the bar. Courtois not well positioned there, but with his lengthy arms, it's very difficult for him to be seen out, especially through a shot that high. And a little bit about Courtois. He won the Zamora Trophy for the best goalkeeper at Atletico Madrid. And a lot of people considered him a legend at that age. And just even when he went to Chelsea, he was seen as an Atletico legend. It's why his transfer to Real Madrid was so controversial. But believe it or not, in his few seasons at Madrid, he already has more games than he did for Atletico. And at least if he keeps at this pace and being so important to Real Madrid, he will definitely become a club legend, the likes of Iker Casillas.
I mean, it's all you can ask for a goalkeeper, someone who doesn't get involved much in the game, but when he needs to stop something, he's there for you, and he'll make some amazing saves.
Yeah, definitely. And the Belgian goalkeeper, very good, World Cup 2018 Golden Glove winner, and overall, he's just been solid after his first season. It was a bit shaky. A lot of Real Madrid fans complained. And during that season, after they lost Keylor Navas and gained Alfonso Areola from PSG, a lot of the time the Real Madrid supporters would actually ask if they could play Areola over Courtois due to his performances that were a bit shaky. He would not be too consistent. And Casemiro still down on the ground. It seems like he got hurt. Camavinga's warming up. And the young Frenchman might come in. We see once again the chance from Barella, and Inter fans will not be appreciating how much they're showing this golden opportunity that Barella could not sink inside. And Casemiro seems to be fine. Will he walk out or not? Felix Birch talks to him, and the referee sends Casemiro out. I don't know if he'll continue. It would be a bit insane from Real Madrid, in my opinion, to just keep him on the pitch after a tackle that left him on the ground for around 2 minutes.
Camavinga, who hasn't featured much for Real Madrid as of late, or as much as he would like, but it's difficult to get into that midfield when you have the quality of Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro on the field.
Yes, it's incredible to see what Real Madrid have built in that midfield and what they're continuing to build. I think the biggest error there will be Marcos Llorente's departure, and right now we see a play. Vinicius plays it outside the box. Jovic can't get it, and Rodrigo hits it first time. A slide tackle from Perisic is what sends it out. And we see that Perisic is such an offensive player. In the Euro for Croatia, he was the most offensively contributing player. But now we also see defensively that prowess that he has. He's a player that's not afraid to do his all and use his physical nature to just get the ball and defend when needed.
Real Madrid not willing to stay quiet towards the second half of the game.
Yeah, I think Ancelotti realized that Inter was not a team that was playing very well. They've been taking a lot of time. And right now we see a cross. Casemiro, after getting up, gets up in the air, tries a header, but it is not a precise one. It goes over the bar. And as we were mentioning, Ancelotti he's just winning the tactical game right now. First half, he just waited it out, had quick counterattacks with Vinicius, and that's how the goal ended up happening. A great jockey, and then a goal from Toni Kroos outside the box. This second half, I think he realized that Inter would try to do more, but that if they suffocated them on offense, that it would be very difficult for Inter Milan. We see a terrible pass there. Right now, Inter on the ball, and a bad touch. And that's been the story for Inter today. A lot of the time they regain the ball, they try to go on offense, and the quick transition has not been there for Inter, as we see a pass from Vinicius. Jovic on the edge of the 6-yard box, but he's blocked very well. He couldn't decide to shoot the first time, tries it on the second, but there were two players there defending that shot, Bastoni and Di Marco, who came in as a sub. Toni Kroos taking the corners now. Real Madrid fans, they will be talking about Modric's corners, his partner. 2014, the one in the final, sends Real Madrid into the extra time against Courtois himself, where they ended up winning. That wonderful corner kick from Modric, and now we see Toni Kroos. He cannot replicate that, and now it's Modric outside the box, the Real Madrid number 10, and the player for Los Merengues loses it. Now it's Barella. He had a chance and he missed it. Now he will try to do something. On the wing, he's marked by two. Kroos and Modric cannot get him. Ferland Mendy, he sees that there's a bit of space and Barella decides to play it back. Brozovic, a nice little pass. Who is that? It's Edin Dzeko. Plays it to Federico Di Marco, the man that came in with the dyed hair. Terrible cross. Inter Milan with a throw-in in dangerous position. The cross might not have been good, but they are still in position to try and make an offensive play happen. Di Marco, what will he do? He takes a little bit of time. Sends it all the way back to Perisic. Çalhanoğlu, Perisic, and now Brozovic. The Croatian, what will he do? He seeks out space, plays it all the way to the back of the Inter line, very far forward for every Inter player. We see every single one of them except Handanovic in Real Madrid's half. And the counterattack could be deadly right now as we see Vinicius on the ball. Vinicius, marked by D'Ambrosio. Referee, yes, he calls the foul appropriately.
the newly substitute player already getting a yellow card. I mean, all that pressure that Inter has to apply it's coming down to the wire, and Vinicius just had to be stopped.
Yeah, and with how quick he is, even a little touch will really get in the way. It seems like he dived, actually, though. If you look at it, it did not seem like he actually touched him. Danilo D'Ambrosio with the yellow. And now we see Real Madrid. Inter's lines are unreadable right now. I feel like Inter players are very frustrated. They can't seem to work anything out. Luka Jovic right now to Vinicius. We'll talk more about Inter struggles later as we see a pass from Vinicius to Jovic. He tries a bit too much. What a wonderful shot. Saved by Handanovic. Still in the box. Mendy loses it. And now it's Inter on the offense with Barella. He's been critical this second half. First half he was a bit invisible, but now he's playing it. And the bad pass that hits Toni Kroos. Inter players wanted a handball. Felix Birch decides that it will not be a handball. And now it's Toni Kroos on the ball, the goal scorer. What will the German do? He takes his time. He bites it. And what does he do? He decides to play it back. They're not going to take any risks.
You can really see the difference between Real Madrid and Inter's attacking play. When Inter tries to play passes vertically, they almost always end up in Real Madrid's possession. But that one time that Real Madrid tried to play it, they come up with a chance and forced the save by Inter's goalkeeper.
Yeah, and an incredible one. It was very nice to see just how Handanovic stretched fully. The pass from Vinicius going past everyone, behind every defender. And Jovic, unlike last time, he decides he's going to shoot it first time like a striker should. Handanovic covers it very well, but those are the types of chances that stress out a team. 2 or 3 more of those and it would likely be a goal. As we see Toni Kroos on the ball. And you were talking about how well Real Madrid were doing offensively as opposed to Inter. I would like to also highlight it defensively. Right now, if you look at Inter's lines, they do not seem to be holding them well. You see the midfield one, and the moment a pass is given, they do not keep those lines steady. Right now we see Edin Dzeko pressing, and he's the only one that's really pressing very harshly. Him and Barella, to be honest. We see there D'Ambrosio rushes to the player and then just stops. And that's why Real Madrid have had so many opportunities. Vinicius on the left side. A foul? What will the referee say? What will he say? I did not see that play very well. To me it seemed clean. The referee does not seem to think so. Felix Birch decides that it will be a free kick to Real Madrid. And just the amount of times we've seen this over and over again. Vinicius getting fouled. Just a light little touch. Plays where you're not quite sure if he gets touched or not, but he's just so nimble and so fast that a little touch will definitely drop him.
Very important, a player like Vinicius that can throw so many fouls, especially to a team like Real Madrid who has really nice set play takers such as Toni Kroos.
Yeah, definitely. And from this position, he can do either a shot or he can try a nice little pass inside. I believe he'll take the latter, but the former is never out of the question, especially with how Handanovic is already getting ready for a cross. He's surprised like this, and we were talking about it in the first half. He scored from a similar position in the World Cup. What will he do now? He decides to go for a cross, and it's not a good cross from Kroos. As we see a clearance that is not good either. Vinicius, behind DeMarco, the substitute, has not played very well, and now Vinicius inside the box. He decides to give out a pass. Casemiro, a shot, and Handanovic in 2 little movements manages to stop the ball.
Really nice effort from a Brazilian, you gotta say. When you're in that position, you just gotta take the shot and hope that the goalkeeper doesn't reach it.
Yes, and Casemiro is known for his striking abilities. He does not shoot very much anymore, but in his early days at Real Madrid, he was a bit trigger happy. And it's not surprising considering up to when he was 13, 14, he was one of the most talented Brazilian strikers of that era. Him and Neymar, they would have a lot of competitions against each other because they played in similar teams. When he ends up in Sao Paulo, Casemiro does become a center defensive mid because there were less people trying out for that position, and he really wanted to make it out of the favelas for his family. But it just shows his grit and determination. The abilities that he had from when he was a kid, they're still showing, and that's what shows Casemiro's prowess. He's so gritty, but at the same time, tactically, he's a great player. And warming up for Inter Milan, we see Arturo Vidal, and we might see a change of game right now with Vidal coming inside.
I believe Inter are preparing for more than one change, as we see Perisic cross the ball into the box, header over the bar. Lautaro Martinez will not be happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely not. Edin Dzeko might have been better in that position, better suited for it, but the way Perisic sent it, if he had sent it to Dzeko, I do not believe he could have beat both Militao and Alaba inside the middle of the box. And yeah, you are correct. Multiple changes coming in for Inter Milan. We see Vidal coming in, and we also see
Alexis Sanchez and Matias Vecino.
Yeah, I could not tell who it was standing behind the third official, but that's Alexis. The Chilean duo that beat Messi in the Copa America final twice will be coming in. Alexis Sanchez has not had his best moments since joining Manchester United, but at Inter Milan he has been a bit of a super sub, scoring very important goals last season. And Vidal, he cannot be understated in the midfield. Can be a bit reckless. We know about his issues with Real Madrid, complaining arduously when he was eliminated as a Bayern player against the Merengues. But we can definitely see these two Chilean players as important substitutions that might switch the game up, especially with how terribly Real Madrid have had to deal with the defense. They have not had any practice, and that can really affect the team. And we see it right now. A pressure from Alexis Sanchez that we haven't seen all game, and now they have an opportunity. Left side of the box, he has Perisic, he decides to shoot it instead. And that's what I was trying to get at. The fact that Inter Milan have not attacked much has left Real Madrid in a slightly terrible position on defense. They're not that warm on it. First half, yeah, they kind of had to defend, but after they scored their goal, they have just kind of let off the gas pedal on defense because they haven't needed to do it.
And you can't afford to do that as an Inter player right now. You have to fight for that top spot because the top spot will guarantee you, or at least it'll increase the chances of getting not a team that's not weaker, but it didn't do as well in their group as the top of the group.
Yeah, and it's not to call a team weaker because, for example, we can say that Barcelona and Benfica nowadays, we can still probably say that Barcelona is a bigger team, but just a team that's not in as good of a form. And that really carries over in Champions League. Yes, after this match day, there's a big break until the Champions League restarts. But you always want to have an opposition that has not performed as well because it plays into these matches. And right now we see a long ball across there. Vidal falls after a hit with Militao, but Real Madrid will go on the offense. No, they cannot do it. And now they get the ball. Beautiful pass from Carvajal. Toni Kroos lets it off to who? To Vinicius Jr. We have heard that name all day long, and it's because he's causing troubles for the Inter players. And D'Ambrosio tries another tackle. He has to be careful there. He's already on a yellow.
Real Madrid seemingly having increased their possession, unlike the first half in which Inter controlled the ball. Maybe it shows Real Madrid is just willing to just take the win and carry on to the top of the group.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of the second half, it really seemed like Real Madrid wanted another goal. But in the latter few minutes, they have just been defending more, holding possession, and not really doing much to merit another goal on the offensive. We see there a tackle from Militao and a punch from Barella. What happened right there? Barella punches Militao. That will surely be a red. Militao steps near him. Barella did not like the tackle, and the young Italian just goes off the rails. I believe this will be a red card. You cannot be doing that. We see the bench is clear. We see everybody run in there. I think the young Italian international will be sent off for that action.
You cannot let your emotions get the best from you, especially in games like this one that are really important, and especially for Barella, who's a key player for Inter and their transitional play.
Yeah, and in the second half, we have really seen him move the ball around. What Brozovic was doing in the first half, Barella was doing in the second. We see him there just punching the leg of Militao. Militao then goes up to him, scares him, does not touch him. I'm sure that will be a yellow for Militao. But for Barella, you cannot do that. The ex-Cagliari player, he's young. He probably does not have as much experience in this sort of match. He just recently got to Inter from Cagliari. Cagliari, a team that does not really have this sort of competition. So for the young Italian, he cannot let his emotions run through him in these types of games. The VAR will check it, but we've all seen it. Barella will be sent off for punching Militao in the leg, truly unnecessarily, and what he will do will just leave Inter with one less player, and the chances will be way worse for them. We see that, yeah, yellow for Militao as we predicted, and Barella can't complain about that red. He's trying to do it, but even Vidal and D'Ambrosio cannot really defend their teammate.
We see Barella trying to make a case for himself, but his actions are truly inexcusable. He deserves that red, and he'll have to, he won't be able to feature in Inter's next Champions League match.
Yes, he's going to leave them with one less player in an important round of 16 game, but apart from that, as they were looking for the win, they had just made some substitutions. We did not know if they were working or not yet. They had just played for 3-4 minutes. And now he just leaves his team with one less player. He goes through Militao's legs, puts his head against Militao's. It's just truly inexcusable to do that. Not only because of his aggressive actions, but just leaving your team with one less player in such a critical moment of the match. I'm sure that Simone Inzaghi is not going to be happy. And as much as Simone Inzaghi is still in his 40s, quite a young coach, the young Italian international will hear some words from his manager at the end of this match.
And it'll be interesting to see how Barella's teammates adapt to the situation. They need a win in order to top the group, so it'll be interesting to see if they putting a lot of pressure on Real Madrid to try to get those 2 desired goals, or just sit back and just watch the rest of the match go by.
Yes, and with Inzaghi's 3-5-2 system, it's going to be very interesting to see how they change, because Çalhanoğlu is more of an attacking midfielder. So now they might need a change there because they're not balanced. They have one regular midfielder in Brozovic, a box-to-box. Barella completed the double pivot system there. But now what we see is that there's Çalhanoğlu, who plays a lot farther forward. And we also see, Matias Vecino, who came in for Çalhanoğlu. Also a different type of player, so it's interesting to see what they will do. And right now we just see 5 Inter players on defense, a 5-3-1 almost.
They'll have to have some really quick transitional play when they win the ball back.
Most definitely, and I think speed might be the only way that they can attempt something. We see a ball played to the left side, Vinicius on the ball, Vinicius will try to curl it, and that looks like the old Vinicius, not the new one. We see Barella watching the game from the stairs, leading into the locker room. You can see in his face, his expressions, he's not happy with what he did.
Really unfortunate for Barella, the timing of the foul, considering that Inter already has made 4 substitutions, so that would leave Inzaghi with his hands tied, really, as we see a substitution, Gagliardini coming for Lautaro Martinez.
It makes sense. Alexis Sanchez just came in as an offensive substitution. They will play him as a center forward. He can link up play a bit more. And like we said, Vecino, he's probably going to drop back a bit farther than what Çalhanoğlu is able to. Vecino does have some defensive qualities. So that would likely leave them with a 3-5 almost on attack, or a 3-4-1 with Alexis Sanchez dropping almost as an attacking mid and then moving farther up the pitch to a center forward position. And I'm sure that Perisic will continue making those runs up to the left wing position, while D'Ambrosio makes those runs to the right wing position. I think right now Inzaghi will be regretting that substitution of Dumfries, but it's very difficult to predict that one of your players is going to go off the rails and just attack his opponent very aggressively without necessity. We see the ball.
Inter, a team that has managed to show their quality in the past year, although they didn't quite make it to win the Europa League final, they still made it to the final and managed to show that Juventus isn't the only team that can win titles, important titles in Italy.
Yeah, most definitely. And quite interestingly enough, if you look at Inter's first win, it comes a year after Milan had shown their dominance in the 1960s. I believe 1963-1964 season is when Inter Milan won their first Champions League title. And if you wonder against who, it's against today's rivals, Real Madrid. 3-1 score, and we might see a typical scoreline like that, a similar one. But I think it will be the other way around for Real Madrid. We see Vidal dropping the ball. And going along with that, we see just Inter Milan. They've been able to win a lot of competitions. Sure, they're not as big in Italy as Milan, their crosstown rivals, or Juventus. But Milan is the second biggest Champions League winner in history. So you cannot talk much about them in Europe, apart from how great they have been. And Juventus, interestingly enough, have never won the Champions League. They're the team that has lost the most finals. So we see an Inter Milan that has legendarily won a lot in Europe and today are just not showing up.
And it's good to see a team like Inter stepping up to the competition, the rivalry between Juventus, because they have really been uncontested for the past few years, as winning 9 Scudettos in a row.
Yeah, and I think just a bit of getting Cristiano Ronaldo made Juventus complacent. And it allowed Inter to really invest in young players. We see a cross, DeMarco, easy for Courtois. That's never going to be difficult for the huge Belgian.
Not too many options for DeMarco there, but he did what he could, and at least he got the ball on target. That's all you want.
Yeah, you can't fault him, especially with how he's having to run so far up the pitch. It's very nice to see that DeMarco's still attempting those types of plays. Camavinga, he's finally going to come in. We thought he was going to come in around 15 minutes ago when Casemiro fell down. No, they just warmed him up a good amount. And now Casemiro will probably leave the pitch. He's very important for Real Madrid, and a lot of the time they seem to fall off once he comes off. But right now, seeing that they have one extra man, seeing that they're controlling possession, and that Inter's not really creating that many chances, they will likely take their chance and put Camavinga in for Casemiro. Toni Kroos to who? To Casemiro, and now place it to the other side, Ferland Mendy. The French international, ex-Lyon player, to Vinicius, place it to Toni Kroos. Only 25 million. That's all Real Madrid paid for him from Bayern Munich, where he used to play. And after the 2014 World Cup, he expressed his desire to leave the club. He wanted to wear the Merengue jersey, and it suits him incredibly well.
What a transfer that's been. It's definitely been one of the most important transfers for Real Madrid in the recent years. That, along with the signing of Luka Modric and even Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, but Luka Modric has an interesting story. When he joined in 2012, his first season, they complained a lot about him, and we see a shot. What a save from Handanovic. Shot from Rodrigo to the bottom left post, and there we see Handanovic stretching fully, reaching to what would be his right-hand post, the left-hand post in Rodrigo's frame of reference, and we just see a great pass from Luka Modric. Nice little touch from Casemiro, and then Rodrigo off to the side of the box. He still tries it, and Handanovic has to fully stretch.
Handanovic falls. Reminding Inter that they still have a chance. They're still in the game. It's not too late. There's 20 minutes left, but it's not too late for the Inter players. They can still pull off a win.
Yes, definitely, especially with those last few minutes where they can just kick the ball up, just try to get a goal, press the Real Madrid defense, send everybody up. If they can score one goal, they're fully in this game, even if they're lacking one man, and the Real Madrid fans will applaud this man. Incredible game. It's what he usually does for Real Madrid. And now Camavinga will come on, the young talent. He scored in his debut. He's shown a lot of flashes of potential, but he's also shown a lot of immaturity when he's played. There we see a nice little ball to Militao. Carvajal, place it to Rodrigo. Now to Carvajal. Will Camavinga get his first touch? Not yet. Carvajal prefers playing it to Militao, who now plays it with David Alaba, also signed from Bayern Munich, this time on a free transfer. Now we see Ferland Mendy. What will Mendy do? Decides to play it back with Modric. As I was saying about Modric, I never got to finish my thought because of that incredible play from Rodrigo. When he was first signed, there were a lot of complaints from Real Madrid fans due to his subpar performances. It's not what they had seen at Tottenham. The next season, he just turned it around, and since 2013, he's been a mainstay in the squad. And he's the one that ended the Ronaldo-Messi Ballon d'Or era, winning it in 2018 after his incredible World Cup, where he also won the World Cup Golden Ball. Carvajal on the ball. What do we see now? We see Rodrigo. Now to Carvajal. Pass to Rodrigo. Cut off. And Inter not trying too much, but DiMarco will try to change that. No, he prefers to play it back. Nice little touches. 1-2s from Inter Milan. They're still on the side of the pitch, and they will not be able to get the ball out easily. Real Madrid pressing very aggressively right now. They want to take up Inter's stamina, especially with having one less player. They want to make them run. They want them to pass the ball. They want to force a mistake. And Ancelotti probably gave them these instructions right now when Camavinga came on.
Yeah, you can really see the difference compared to the beginning of the game where Real Madrid was barely even pressuring. Now that Inter is a goal down and a man down, Real Madrid seems to be putting the pressure on.
Most definitely, but right now we see a play that might have a Chilean connection. Arturo Vidal, yeah, he gives it to Alexis Sanchez, El Principito, switches the wing. Federico DiMarco, nice little header to who? Modric's compatriot, Perisic, played all the way back. Now to who? Vidal. The man with the crazy haircut plays it to Alexis Sanchez. A pass into the box, cut easily by Militao.
Really nice effort from the Inter player. That's what you want to see really as an Inter fan. Just your players trying to make chances, trying to create a goal out of nowhere.
Definitely, and Inter are not giving up. Now they play it to the left wing where we see who? Perisic. We've said his name all day, but his crosses have not been good. That one meets the mark that he set today, missing entirely of. Now we see Camavinga getting a touch on the ball. He wants to switch up the pace, and he does so very well, playing it to Luka Jovic. Luka Jovic, a tackle. Referee calls the foul. It won't be anything. No. Bastoni has already had a lot of those. Yellow card for Bastoni. I think that's one of those yellows that the referee just wants to tell him to stop doing it. Bastoni has had 2 or 3 of these during the match, and this one, he just tackles Jovic a bit. I think it's on the fence, but those previous actions are what end up costing him that yellow.
That's right. He already got a couple warnings, and it's time for the referee to pull it out. If not, if he wants to stop the behavior the rest of the game.
Yes, and especially in a game this intense, stopping it right now is definitely, like you said, very important. He wants to stop that behavior because in the last 17 minutes, we do not want another Barella incident. Who do we see now? Ferland Mendy, bought from Olympique Lyon, cousin of Edouard Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Nice little touch from Camavinga. And those are the flashes of brilliance he's shown, doing a back heel pass, lobbing it over an Inter Milan player, played all the way back to Courtois. Who's that? Now it's Militao, Brazilian international. With who? Alaba. Now with Toni Kroos. We've talked a lot about that man today, the goal scorer and the man that's led Real Madrid in the midfield today. Him and Modric split that role, but today has been that Toni Kroos show. Played with Militao. He takes his time and plays it with Modric. Inter do not seem to be very urged to press. They have urgency, but they do not use that urgency to fuel their attacks. Now Alexis Sanchez, a bad pass. Luka Jovic on the ball, decides to play with who? With Vinicius Jr., the man that creates every play for Real Madrid, the man that goes on offense, the man that frightens defenses. He plays it to Luka Modric. He moves the ball around. Referee says it's not a foul. Now Inter Milan may have a play on the break. What do? Alexis Sanchez double-teamed the foul by Real Madrid. Intelligent play to stop it. He complains. He believes Alaba deserved the yellow there. Inter Milan fans will be complaining about this play, similar to Bastoni's. Yeah.
The clock is ticking down, and Real Madrid players know it. They are trying to close out every single play or every single chance Inter has in order to try to get a goal.
And what we saw there from Vidal is just his usual. He's a similar player to Casemiro, where his tackles are on the edge of the dirty, but they're just so clean how they manage to get the ball and just give a player a little bump and give him a reminder that they're there.
It's really an art of itself. Just the ability to not only stop the play, but also really just impact the way your opponents play for the rest of the game.
Oh, definitely. And it instills fear in them. They do not want to go through there. They know they'll get bumped. And Real Madrid, what will they do right now when they gain the ball? They have a space on the right side and they use it. Rodrigo Goes with who? Vidal. He gets the ball back. He's been great since he came on. I wonder if maybe he had started instead of maybe Brozovic. Brozovic did try to move the ball around, but I feel like that role could have been sufficient for Barella. Or maybe even switching Barella for Vidal. We saw what happened there with him. He left his team with 10. So maybe putting Vidal from the start might have given a different result for the Inter fans and for the team.
That'll be something to consider for Inzaghi in the next coming matches, as we see 3 substitutions from the Real Madrid bench.
Yeah, it seems Rodrigo will go out for Marco Asensio on the right wing. A lot of love from Ancelotti for Asensio. Scored 3 against his hometown team Mallorca earlier in the season, and he will be coming on to try and lose a bit of time, offer a bit more of explosiveness now that Rodrigo's tired. We also see Fede Valverde for Toni Kroos, and we've seen how good Valverde is. He's part of Real Madrid's upcoming golden generation in the midfield. We were just talking about Camavinga, we talk about Valverde, and had they not sold Marcos Llorente, that midfield would be scary for years to come.
Yeah, and we see Mariano Diaz come in, who had a prolific spell in France only last season, and he was brought back to Real Madrid and not really been that prolific in his time back.
Yeah, he played alongside Mendy in Lyon. He did very well there, came back, and this season, when he managed to start, he scored a great goal, but apart from that, he hasn't done much. He also hasn't been given that many opportunities to show much more, to be honest with you. It's not Mariano's fault, but we'll see if today he can assert his place over Luka Jovic, the man bought for 60 million. Courtois with the ball. He'll try to start a quick play, and he does so with the quickest man on the field, Vinicius Jr. He runs precisely the moment he reaches the ball. Beautiful pass to Mariano. He tried to give the ball to Valverde, and that would have been a wonderful substitution from the moment they came on. Ancelotti knew that could happen. He tried it, but it did not work. They were one bad pass from Mariano, a couple feet away from what might have been the 2-0 lead. Now Vinicius inside the box. Good pass from Mendy. Vinicius, tries to get past 2. He doesn't have space. Tries to give it to Asensio, and that was not good. He drifted too far wide. Inter Milan players do not reach the ball either. It'll be a corner kick.
Vinicius is like dynamite. He's a player that plays for the bench, and he just runs around until he gets the result he wants.
We see the corner kicks low, and Vinicius is definitely dynamite that will be trying to explode Inter's defense and ruin their chances of reaching the first position that right now seems to be out of the grasp of Inter Milan. Luka Modric outside the box, lined up for a shot, decided to go for the pass to Carvajal. Marco Asensio, the man that just came in. A nice shot!
Golazo.
What a goal. Marco Asensio with a shot that hits the post and barely goes in. Who could have expected it? Less than a minute inside the pitch, Ancelotti knew what he was doing. Ancelotti has so much love for the Mallorca native, and he does what he does best. Those beautiful long shots with his left leg, knuckled into the post, and then it just bounces inside. Handanovic doesn't believe it. He just stood there. And what can you do when he's right on the edge of the box? Kicks it perfectly towards the post, and the bounce is right on the inside of said post, going inside and barely not touching the other side of the goal. What a wonderful strike from Asensio. Curled with a bit of knuckle in there. Hits the right hand post of Handanovic, and then it just barely misses the left hand post with how well he positioned it.
I mean, que golazo. You can't give Asensio, a player like Asensio, that much space in the edge of the box. You know, if he gets the space, he's curling that far corner, and he's done it time and time again for Real Madrid. That's his 9th goal in the competition for the club.
And now, like you said, Vinicius is dynamite, but they do not want to tire him out anymore. With the 2-0 lead, Ancelotti will not take any more chances. He wants to keep his star player fit, and the man that we thought was going to be the star for Real Madrid, Eden Hazard, is the man coming in. Has not lived up to expectations. Did not show up in weight last season. There's been a lot of critiques for the Belgian. We'll see if right now, with the score at 2-0, he manages to secure a 3-0 goal. And with that, he would really show that he can still do a lot for Real Madrid. He hasn't shown much so far this season. Last year, he scored during the Champions League group stages. It seemed like he was back, and then he just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, if you're Eden Hazard right now, you're even just looking for a goal, not even for the team. I mean, the team has the win already, but just for yourself, you need to boost that confidence in order to get back to your level. We saw Eden Hazard, especially in the World Cup, he showed to be one of the best players in the world. But unfortunately, he hasn't really stepped up for Real Madrid.
Yeah, he connected so well during that World Cup with the ex-Inter player Romelu Lukaku. And just overall, he showed so much, but it just didn't work out with Real Madrid. They also signed Courtois from that incredible Belgian team that, had they not faced France, where they only lost by 1 goal off a counterattack, Belgium actually dominated that game. So you can never tell what could have happened there with these 2 incredible players. But then what happens once they get transferred? Courtois succeeds after a tough spell the first season. Hazard also has it tough, but then is unable to succeed.
That's right, and I mean, if you're a Real Madrid fan right now, you're just hoping every game that Hazard plays that he'll start picking up his form and provide what we all know he can provide.
Yeah, he's still a great player. He still has a couple years left in him, and Real Madrid fans will hope he had the form he had at Chelsea, the form he had at Lille, just the form he's had everywhere else he's played. He just hasn't managed to fulfill it at Real Madrid, which was always his dream. It might be the nerves, it might just be the difficulty that he's had, and then the adaptation to a different type of soccer. But it's very difficult for a player like that to start off badly and then pick it up. Modric did it though, so we'll see if Hazard can do it himself. A long pass. Inter Milan seem tired. They seem hurt, and they just seem disillusioned right now. We see from Perisic, who has ran all game, a little jog for that ball there instead of fighting for it. As we see a little ball to Eden Hazard. Hazard gives a beautiful pass to Dani Carvajal on the outside of the box, tries to get inside, runs for it, wins the ball. What happened there? Real Madrid had a clear goal. What just happened? The golden opportunity was there for what appeared to be Mariano Diaz, and he just didn't kick.
Sloppy defending from Inter, really. A team that takes pride in having such good defenders, and it just not going their way this game.
Yeah, and they definitely have room to grow. We see the starting defenders, Bastoni, still a young kid, Skriniar, still very young, and the Slovakian, seen as one of the most expensive defenders in the world. Why? Because he's so young and so filled with class. Bastoni, another great one. He won the Euro. He's barely not in the squad for Italy due to Chiellini and Bonucci's great form. But we see there, Perisic just leaves the ball go. The pass to Mariano, he controls it, and then he just tried to do too much. It seemed like he was going for a back heel there.
That was one of the easiest chances Mariano Diaz is going to get anytime soon, and wasn't able to put it away.
Yeah, and after Jovic scored on the fixture prior to this for Real Madrid, coming in as a substitute for Benzema after his injury, Mariano could have evened that out, because that fight for the second striker in Real Madrid is quite fierce, and whenever Benzema's out, it's always a question as to who Ancelotti will decide to go with. when it came to Zidane, there was no confidence in Jovic. Now it seems like it's the other way around, where Ancelotti has a bit more confidence in Jovic, and Mariano doesn't get as many chances. But the one he had this season, where he played as a starter, he managed to score. We'll see if Mariano will be mad about that. He'll be complaining to himself, and he will be lamenting me missing that easy chance.
5 minutes remaining of the game.
A second half without that much action, but we see a header there. As I was complaining about the lack of action, Inter Milan, who have not had many chances, and Milan Skriniar will be sad. He'll be disappointed with himself, and he will definitely be wishing that started an Inter fire that might have led to at least a tie, at least some honor, or at least a goal to show that they did not give up fighting.
Very powerful header, but that seems to be the theme of the game. Every single header Inter's had, and they've had like 3 or 4, is he's gone straight into the hands of Courtois. Really interesting to see.
Yeah, all the headers except that one from DeMarco where it went over the net, but everything else apart from that, like you said, has been very easy and has just gone to Courtois' hands. That one was powerful, but Courtois did not have to move. The other few, a bit less powerful, but with Courtois still being able to move half an inch or two to get the ball. Now we see a play from Real Madrid. They lose the ball. Now Inter Milan, they will want to get at least one goal. They will not want to end up going home 2-0 with 10 men and just realizing that they lost an opportunity that they had to really go on top of the group and to secure maybe not an easier opponent, but an opponent that is not in as great of a form. Now we see Di Marco came in the second half. I do not believe he made much of an impact. Cross to the second post. D'Ambrosio playing on the right wing now that Dumfries is out. Cross, and who do we see? Courtois.
It's those chances that you want as an Inter player. They need to create something right now. They're running out of time, and if they need a few goals, at least 3 unresponded to just take the win.
Yeah, and clearly put, right now it seems impossible for Inter Milan to do that. Real Madrid will likely take this win home. They have deserved it. They have been the better team today. But Inter Milan were not bad, and they had glimpses, but they just did not seem to be urgent enough, and they just did not seem to create any powerful or dangerous chances, as we see Mariano Diaz with a header that goes to the hands of Handanovic.
Easily retrieved by the goalkeeper and quickly thrown to his teammates, hoping his teammates to create some chances quickly before the game finishes. It's towards the back end, and Inter need more than 1 goal.
Yeah, and we saw that there. He's trying to rush the team, but there, when he plays it forward so quickly, what ended up happening, Vecino didn't look for any forward options. He just instantly turned back around and passed the ball. You cannot be playing the ball back when you're losing by 2 goals and need 3 to win. Inter seem to have given up right now. The win is Real Madrid's, unless they lose. It's Real Madrid's to lose. It's not Inter's to win right now. And the spoils will go to the Merengues at the end of this day because of issues like this. Inter were not urgent enough. From the first half after they got scored, where they seemed a bit more dominant, they started being patient. They wanted a Real Madrid mistake to end with their goal. They were waiting for the inch-perfect pass. They were not taking chances. And in a game like this, where it's the first position in the group at stake, you have to take your chances. You have to try everything, and you need to try and score.
We can still see the impact of Inter being down to 10 men. I mean, getting the ball back, they're trying to build up. There's still 4 players in the middle of the field. There's no one's running up. No one's in the middle. There's no number 9. They're just playing switch the ball, lateral passes, and that's not going to work if they want to score goals.
Yeah, and with Alexis Sanchez, with so many injuries, he's not the quick player he used to be. Having him solo up top might not be the course of action in this type of situation for Inter Milan. Simone Inzaghi probably did not want to substitute a man that he had just brought in, but I think Lautaro would have worked better with this. However, I don't think any player would have really saved Inter playing this type of way with only 10 men, and right now we see Real Madrid just controlling the possession with David Alaba playing it in the midfield. Camavinga now. He came in, has not had to do much. Who's that now? Asensio, the goal scorer. What a beautiful goal he scored, and now he has another opportunity. Gets into the box and loses it. Handanovic plays it instantly away from danger as Asensio went charging towards him.
Another long ball by Inter.
Vecino seems to be on the ball. Who's that now? Alexis Sanchez. Tries a little play towards Vecino. Vecino can have a shot. No, Militao.
It really just makes you wonder how the absence of Romelu Lukaku has impacted Inter. There's no one who's hungry for the goal. It seems like at the moment, at least.
Yeah, we see now Modric, and I definitely agree with you. Lukaku was really that man that was hungry for the goal. He just played for the team, really wanted to score, really wanted to win. And I have not seen that hunger from the Inter side today. They seem a bit tired, they seem disillusioned, and the early Real Madrid goal and the sending off of Barella probably played a big role in this sort of emotional response from Inter.
90 minutes of the game. We're still yet to see how many minutes the referee will decide to add.
I'm sure he will not add much. There's not much to add to this game, and as much as Casemiro was down for a couple minutes, the referee will probably just end this sooner rather than later. Inter do not seem to be playing for much. Real Madrid are just trying to hold possession. We see there the switch from Camavinga towards Alaba. Real Madrid seem to even be doing more on the attack. They don't seem to be going for much, but when they see an opportunity like this, when they start off with Mendy, then he plays it back to Valverde. He has an opportunity with the midfield. Yes, he gives it to Hazard, who decides to play it back to Alaba. Now back to Mendy, the man that started the play. Nice little pass to Valverde to Alaba. Now who Camavinga plays it to Mendy. Mendy, and the referee blows the whistle straight away. It's what I was telling you. Right now we saw a huge victory from Real Madrid, an important victory, and a deserved victory. Inter Milan played well for the first few minutes of the game, but could not respond to Toni Kroos's wonderful strike. And once Ancelotti made his changes after the Barella incident, Asensio came in, had a wondrous strike with his left leg, and Inter Milan had no way to respond.
Inter knew it was going to be a difficult game, and it was. But at the end of the day, both of the teams still make it through to the next round of the Champions League competition, and that's really all that matters.
Yes, and after a failure of a season last year, at least in terms of the Champions League for Antonio Conte's side, they will be happy to make it to the next round. The Inter fans probably did not expect to go over Real Madrid, who's one of the best teams in terms of form right now. And both teams' fans will be happy. Lautaro will get to play the round of 16 of the Champions League. Ancelotti will get to lead the Merengues once again in the Champions League in the search for another title. One of the biggest winners right there. And now we see the compatriots. They're all going to be talking. We see Modric, we see Perisic. There's no need for them to be upset. They're happy. They switched jerseys. And at the end of the day, both teams went through. And both of these teams showed why they deserve to go on to the next round. Inter might have done it only for a few minutes, but we definitely saw some qualities there. And as much as they need to fix for the next round, I think they're still a great team with a great chance to succeed.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed this game with us and stay with us for the next Champions League match. Thank you.
Thank you.